Okay, so we are live. All right, thank you so much, everyone, for joining today's session. So, welcome, a warm welcome to each and everyone who is attending our Zipinars for Let Us Talk It, which aims to create an empowered and informed community. So, this initiative is made possible. So we are live from. All right, thank you so much, everyone, for today's session. Hold on. So, welcome. So I'm sorry about that. Now, apologies, some technical problems occurred, but definitely we are all good. So as mentioned, this initiative is made possible by Cogent Integrated Business Solutions, which is an IT company, US-based, and is visible in Mexico, Spain, and India as well. And they want to give back to the community. So they created this webinars, which they call Zipinars, in order to give back to the community and give value through free knowledge sharing. So without further ado, we will start with the first topic of the day. So hence, the speakers have agreed to switch topics for schedule reasons. All right. So we have here the first topic as content creators might be the actual AIs or bosses. So AI has come to deprive us of our jobs. So it's a quote unquote. So I hear creators scream this aloud. It's on every platform. It's no longer news as they bitterly continue to complain. So this is a very interesting topic to hear today as AI seems to be growing further. Now, to deliver this topic, we have um, Lubumi Grace Arungbimi, which is a content and copywriter who has helped various organizations generate leads and eventually converted through her creative writing style. And she is also the founder of the Grace Foundation, TGF, a not for profit organization that supports children. So, without further ado, I have here Grace or Arungbimi, to give us the topic.
All right. Good evening from over here in Nigeria. I hope I'm clear enough. Am I clear enough? Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
All right. Okay. So, very interesting topic. I'll stand on the existing protocol. I must say a very big thank you to Phil John. You've been awesome and amazing. I think the last time I spoke was last year, November or so. Thank you so much for bringing me on the platform again. I'm really grateful and I feel honored. All right, so let's quickly go to the topic. The topic says content creators might be the actual AIs. In essence, bosses. Why did I name this topic this way? Because it's like AI is everywhere. Like everyone is hyping AI everywhere you turn, literally on all social media platforms. Everyone is talking about the new AI, ChatGPT to be precise, and how it has come to sweep everyone of their jobs. And this only makes it a boss because if everybody's talking about you, of course, you're already a boss. So I came up with the topic, having a different kind of mindset towards it, because in the actual sense of it, AIs might not necessarily be the bosses. You might be the boss, and you'll find out how. Let's continue. All right, so an established truth, which we all know, is this. Whether you're a freelancer, you work alone. Freelancing means individual working on your own under nobody, or part of a small group, or you're working for a very gigantic populated firm or organization, and you are part of that company, right? Creating unique, creative, as well as engaging content is very essential. Now, take note of the highlighted words: unique, creative, and engaging. All right. So as a freelancer or part of a small group or working for a very big firm, whatsoever it is, creating unique, creative, as well as engaging content is very essential to building and sustaining that business. All right. So in essence, for you to sustain a business, whether you want to or not, you have to create content. And I'm sure you agree with me. All right. So let's continue. So the table of content here, what we're going to be discussing today, we're going to be discussing what content creation is all about. We are also going to be looking at humans versus AI. Now, AI means artificial intelligence, in case you didn't know. So we're going to be looking at humans versus AI. We're also going to be looking at what the stats are saying about AI. We are also going to be looking at the ChatGPT is going to take our jobs trend, because it's literally everywhere. Everyone's talking about how ChatGPT is going to snatch them of their jobs and all of that. So we are going to be speaking about it today. We're also going to be seeing why you should calm down, why you should relax. All right. And then we'll be concluding. So that's the table of contents. Let's dive in very quickly. So yes, content creation, I'm sure it's not a new word. Everybody knows about content creation. Everybody, I'm sure, whether you like it or not, you must have, whether you are even in the digital world or not, you must have heard of content creation in one way or the other. So what is content creation? Content creation is actually the bedrock of any form of marketing. Any form of marketing efforts, whether offline or digital, content creation is the bedrock. Now, what do I mean? This is because it is a process of conducting research. For you to be able to create content, you have to, first of all, conduct in-depth research, generate strategic and creative ideas. Now, take note of these, essential, these words I'm using: strategic, creative, engaging, all right, unique. So it's a process of conducting this research and then in turn generating these strategic and creative ideas on your own that are valuable and then promoting them to a target audience. We know that in today's fast changing digital world, content now takes many forms. Now, what do I mean? When you go to web pages, you definitely see content there, either text or video or blogs or as infographic on our social media platforms. You literally see content everywhere. And I recall the last time I spoke, I said content is not just textual. Content can be videos, content can be infographics, all right? In fact, you can actually create content without speaking. These days, you can create content without speaking. I was watching a guy the other day on Instagram. This guy's videos literally have no sounds. He only makes gestures with his hands, but he's still creating content, and people can relate to this content because it makes them laugh. All right. So that's content. Whether you believe it or not, content creation is integral to any business, to any marketing, any marketer that wants to grow their brands, that wants to put themselves out there, that wants to make themselves aware. You have to create content. No business is devoid of content, whether you believe this or not. It's an established fact. Content creation is very, very essential to the growing of any brand. All right. So next slide. All right, so still on content creation, right? Now, during the process of creating content, coming up with a development and implementation plan is essential. It is essential. As much as you want to create content, you want to put yourself out there, you want your brand to be known and all of that, it is still very important for you to carry out strategic development and implementation plan. Now, this is why it is essential. It's going to help your brand achieve 4 things that I outlined in the slide. Number 1 is lead generation. Now, what is lead generation? Lead generation is all about, the people that respond to your content are your leads. In marketing, we call them leads because that's the jargon in marketing space. All right. So we call these people leads. When you put your content out there, when you create your content, after creating your content and you put it out there, the people that respond to your CTA, to your call to actions, are your leads. All right. So this is why we create content, so that people can respond to an intended action that we want them to take. So we create content for lead generation. And I hope that is fair enough. So secondly, we create content to increase our conversions. Now, what do I mean by conversions? Conversion is another marketing jargon in the sense that when you finally generated your lead, conversion is when they eventually do what you want them to do. Now, maybe let's say, for instance, you create a content on baby products for mothers, and you put your content out there, right? And maybe probably you included in your content that they should, include their email, maybe probably their emails on the platform, and they eventually included their email. Those people that included their emails in your funnel are your leads, but conversion takes place when they eventually buy your products. That's conversion. So it takes extra, an extra strategy, an extra implementation strategy for you to eventually convert your leads, which is making them buy or making them do what you want them to do, taking an intended action. All right, so that's the second reason why brands create content. Thirdly, it helps you to your brand to become known. It creates brand identity as well as awareness for your brand. So people wouldn't know you if you don't put yourself out there. Now, put yourself out there, you have to create content, right? Either in the form of flyers or posts, social media posts or videos. You have to put yourself out there. All right. I think I've explained this earlier. Now, the fourth thing that content creation does for you is that it improves your brand reputation. Now, well-known brands that we've come to know today, these people have been in the business of creating content. We see their content everywhere on YouTube, on all social media platforms, and that's how they've been able to maintain their reputation. It has improved their reputation because they now have a track record of content creation, and they are now well known because they've been putting themselves out there. So you see the reason why you need to start creating content if you haven't started already. So to achieve all of those things that I just stated, content has to be created. So let's go to the next slide very quickly. So we are now on AI. Now I like to say OI. HI rather, sorry. I like to call it OI. Now, what do I mean by OI? Original intelligence versus artificial intelligence. Now, the difference between humans and AIs is that we have flesh and blood, while AIs are only wire technologies. They do not have flesh and blood like humans. Humans have brains, but so does AIs have brains. Now, we know that intelligence is an essential quality that everyone craves because it helps us understand as well as solve problems, right? Stay with me. Let's go to the next slide. So let's proceed. Human intelligence is created by God, whereas humans are the creators of artificial intelligence. I don't know if you are already seeing the twist or it's just me. So these so-called bosses, quote and unquote, that everyone has been hyping, who created them? Humans. We literally created AIs, whereas God created us. So you can see that in the hierarchy, you are up the ladder. You can see that you're up the ladder. Now, it's getting interesting, right? No, now the ideas of humans creating a machine that can think like them is not only fascinating, but intelligent. Can you now see why you're actually the boss? Because we literally created these machines, so that it can facilitate our work. So let's say we are the ones giving these AIs the prompts. As judgmental as this may sound, AIs need humans to function well. AIs need humans to function well. And I'm sure that you agree with me, because humans are literally the creators of AIs. We created these things. Now, are you already seeing why you might be the actual boss? Next slide, please. All right. Now, this is the reason why you shouldn't even term AIs your bosses. Rather, collaborate with them instead of compete. Now, this is where the topic of ChatGPT comes in. I'm sure we all at one point in time must have heard of the popular ChatGPT that's everywhere now. I mean, it's everywhere. Everyone is talking about ChatGPT. So in case you haven't, which I doubt, ChatGPT is an AI, an artificial intelligence chatbot that was developed by OpenAI. And this chatbot receives prompts from users, then generates new text or images based on the data set used to train the model. Now, take note of the highlighted words, the highlighted words there, based on the data set used to train the model in response. Let's continue. Next slide, please. So this amazing chatbot is too intelligent, to say the least, because it churns out content in seconds. I don't know if any of us here have tried ChatGPT. I don't know, but it's so amazing that it literally brings out content in seconds and is quickly earning the boss title in some of its precedents, like Sonic, all the other AI technologies that came before it. It's beating them because it's awesome. Now, this is what people are saying about ChatGPT, that it will fundamentally change everything in marketing forever, because because of how super fast it is. Now, others are also saying it is the future we've all been waiting for. Others are saying this is crazy, it will take our jobs. Different statements about AI. Now, as much as all these may be true, you as a content creator still have a leverage, and that is why you should collaborate instead of compete with it. Now, I hear someone asking, how can I collaborate, and why should I collaborate? Let's take a look at the statistics of ChatGPT. So these are the stats. These are what the statistics are saying about ChatGPT. Number one is it is trained to understand only 39 languages. ChatGPT has been trained to, interpret only 39 languages. Secondly, mostly good at scripts, poetry, fiction content, but not so great at copywriting. Now, this is already a win for you, because if you are a copywriter, ChatGPT is bad at it, so you still have your space. All right. Now, the third statistic says that ChatGPT can produce over 5.7 billion of text in a day. Now, this is what would take a normal human being, 4,000 years to complete if he was meant to write at least 1,000 pages in a day. You can see how crazy and how super fast this statistics or this ChatGPT rather is. Now, the next statistic says that less data for ChatGPT, if less data for it is equals slower learning but more accurate results. So the less data you impute into ChatGPT, the slower, the more accurate the results. The more accurate the results. So you can see that there's a way to go around ChatGPT itself. If you do not know, if you are not smart enough to go around ChatGPT, it will just churn out what it feels like, giving you. So more data equals faster learning, but less accurate output. Now, another statistic says that 95% accuracy is attributed to ChatGPT, with only errors like grammatical inconsistencies, repetitions, irrelevant information sometimes, and lack of originality. Take note of the highlighted word there, originality. I don't know if you've been taking notes of all the highlighted words since I started this talk, but if you've been taking notes of all the highlighted words, you would see the reason why I said you might actually be the boss. Now, the last statistic says that it's trained to rely on informations gotten from blogs, social media sites, and forums. So it's trained, in essence. It cannot give more than what it has been programmed into it. All right. Next slide, please. Now, ChatGPT is going to take our jobs. That's the trend everywhere. Now, from the previous stats that we just saw, we can see that almighty ChatGPT still has its limitations. And I'm sure you saw some of the limitations it has, because it cannot give more than it has been programmed to give. Everybody is talking about it, and they are saying that it's going to take their jobs, it's going to take them out of the market. This is how they feed. How are they going to feed? Because of ChatGPT, a common AI. Now, content creators are even the most fearful. The rant is everywhere that is going to take their jobs. But if we can pause for a minute, and that's what I keep telling people, if we can pause for a minute, I think the actual question should be, don't we think that it seems rather premature to latch onto the idea that artificial intelligence, or let's say, to be precise, ChatGPT, will disrupt the future of content? Don't we think? I mean, judging from the limitations that we've seen from the statistics. Now, this is the question. This is the answer to all the questions, to all the trends that have been everywhere. Will it actually steal your job? No. ChatGPT hasn't come to steal our jobs. Now, why did I say so? Because there has never been a time that technology steals from us. What it does is that it enhances us. It helps us get better. Technology only enhances, it doesn't steal. So don't be oppressed by ChatGPT. Don't be scared of ChatGPT, because it will only make you smarter. And that's the truth. Because if you're not creative enough, you can't even use ChatGPT. If you're not smart enough, you can't use ChatGPT, because it's a very smart, AI. I tell you, it's extremely smart, even smarter than some humans, I must say. So that it helps you do more with less, and maybe reorganize your brain. I'm sorry for that. Maybe reorganize our brains, our messy brains, because sometimes it can be overwhelming for humans. All right, so next slide, please. So now here's the reason why I think that everybody should all just calm down. Like the whole drama, everybody should calm down, because ChatGPT has limitations, AI has limitations, and they can lag from traffic. Because sometimes you go on ChatGPT and you want to do something, it just types one boring poetry for you, or starts to it lags. It lags, and because it lags, it's a limitation. So which means it's not perfect. It's not as perfect as people have been painting it to be. All right. And this is also another reason why I think you should calm down, because you can leverage on its speed. Like I said, if you're smart, you just leverage on the speed to reduce your workload for research, to carry out research. ChatGPT literally does it for you. So you just carry out your research, and it's left for you to, turn it around as creatively as you want it to look like. All right. And also the hype will go down really soon. I mean, we've heard of technologies that people have was hyping at some point, and then all of a sudden it's nowhere. Everybody is just quiet about it again. It's going to go down really soon, and all that hype will just be down in the drain. All right. I mean, there was a time they said electric cars were coming and all of that. It eventually came, but then here we are, and electric cars has just started. I mean, it's more or less like it's just the beginning. Like we haven't gotten there, So AI, all the hype is still going to calm down, and it's going to go down, and everybody will just be quiet about it again. So don't let it take the best part of you, because you are still more creative, more emotional, and unique than it will ever be. All right. So creators should just learn to calm down. And guess what? Since all its program brain is trained to churn out was put in there by an actual human with original intelligence, which is you might just be the actual boss. Thank you. Well, good luck.
All right.
Thank you
so much for Grace or Mimi. Yes. Thank you so much for that wonderful discussion. So yes, for those content creators there, do not be afraid. Just make use of what's existing.
Make use of it.
Yes, these are additional tools to make it more productive. And yes, it doesn't work on its own. So there should be a smart person.
Exactly.
Yeah, manipulating it in order for it to work. So that's perfect then. Any questions or things you'd like to address with regards to the topic? Feel free to do so. Put it in chat, or you can unmute, or you can just get in touch with Grace offline. And yeah.
Anthony, I think she made a very good point that machines, they are going to assist the what called human beings. In fact, probably you could recollect that a couple of years back, people were saying that by 2025, human resources will become irrelevant. But I personally feel that as long as we continue to invest in emotional intelligence, indulge in creative and critical thinking, I think human resources, will continue to be what I call relevant. So nothing to worry about that. Arungumi, you are absolutely right. ChatGPT and other artificial intelligence, tools, they are here to what I call facilitate us. So let's not forget one thing, that technology enables change, but it's the people who drive the change. So let us continue to what I call update ourselves, invest in emotional intelligence, create psychological safety for our associates. Thank you.
Thank you
so much, Dr. Jagan. Thank you for your contribution. Thank you.
All right. So yes, thank you again. So for any other queries, I do not see it here yet, but yeah, you can reach out to Arungumi on LinkedIn. So you can just type her name there, and then you'll be able to get hold of her in case you want to collaborate further offline. All right. So
yeah, so much, Arungumi. So it's a good topic that you picked. It's a right and relevant. It really will, is bothering many people.
Much. Yeah.
And I have a unrelated question, actually. So what does your name mean? Is there some specific meaning for your name?
Okay, so Arungumi is actually my surname. So what it means is my mouth takes me places. My mouth takes me places, great places, essentially.
Oh, okay. Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So it means that if you use your words right, it has the ability to lift you, to take you to great places.
Oh, very good philosophy behind that. So
yeah. But Grace is also my name, so you're free to address me as Grace.
Okay. Got it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time again. And also,
You're welcome. And I hope you enjoyed the topic.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rini. So that's the CEO of Cogent. And yes. And who's behind the Zipinars. So we can move to the next topic for today. Thank you so much, Grace. Yes, if you
Thank
need
you so
to
much
leave,
for having
you
me.
can. Yeah, definitely. It's a pleasure for us to have you. If you need to leave or go for any other things important, you can definitely. And
All right. Thank you
catch up
so
later.
much.
So for
All
the
right.
next topic,
Thank you.
we have psychological safety. So it's just simply written, but psychological safety is the belief that you won't be punished or humiliated for speaking up with ideas. So here we have Dr. Jagan Mohan Reddy, who is a professor, HR trainer, and motivational speaker who will talk about psychological safety. So he worked as a professor at Symbiosis Institute of Business Management and Symbiosis International, which is a deemed university in Hyderabad from 16th January 2017 to the 15th July 2021. So he is a gold medalist in economics with an MPhil degree from JNU, New Delhi, in addition to PGDIR and PM from BAPIS. But definitely, I'll give all the pleasure for him to discuss much of himself and for a short introduction. And definitely, without further ado, we will have Dr. Jagan Mohan Reddy to deliver the topic, psychological safety.
Thank you, Anthony, for your kind words. Yeah, today's topic is what we call psychological safety. All of us, must be aware that it has become a buzzword. People are talking about it on a regular basis. What is psychological safety? Psychological safety, as Anthony just now was, told us, is, a belief that you will not be humiliated or punished for expressing what we call, your feelings, your opinions, and all that. Now, who coined this concept? It's not that, organizational behavioral scientists, they didn't look at what this phenomena, but it's what called Amy Edmondson of Harvard Business Review or Harvard Business School, who coined, this concept, in late 90s. According to her, when we have uncertainty and what called interdependency, that's where what I call, psychological safety comes in. Fine. Then one might what call, ask as to what call, why to bother about psychological safety? When organizations have, high psychological safety, then you'll have, higher job satisfaction, increased employee engagement. And when the psychological safety is on the lower side, you'll find what we call fear and you'll what to find silence. But then why to foster what we call, psychological safety within a team? When you have psychological safety, when people don't have any fear of being punished or what we call, humiliated, they'll give their what we call best. All of us are familiar with about, Gallup findings. What did the Gallup say? They said outstanding performance of the organization depends on outstanding performance of the people, given the fact that all of the resources are either accessible or affordable or what I call available. But that in turn, what I call depends on what I call, how strong and vibrant the work environment. In creating which, what I call the managers, what I call, they play what I call key role. In fact, Amy says, was done, considerable amount of research on psychological safety. She says the immediate influence on psychological safety is from the what I call boss only. So what is that, what managers could do? Why not have, clear norms of, behavior and what called expectations? Create an environment where people can what call, freely express, their what call views and all that. Now, let's, what call, why what call we recruit people? We recruit people because, they bring their own wisdom, their chiseled wisdom, their knowledge, what comes to the table. But when they don't find an environment wherein, they can bring their individual knowledge, their wisdom, as what I call, Cornell professor, Catherine says that you are, leading to what I call, common what I call knowledge, what I call thing is as such. because nobody is, bringing their creativity as such. Then leaders in general and managers in particular, they need to address issues of discrimination, harassment, bullying. Now, how can you do that? Create an environment of openness. Start respecting people. Fine. But as a student of economics, I'm sure people will be asking that does it matter? Yes, psychological safety results in 27% less turnover, 76% increased employee engagement, 50% more productive, and 74% less stress. This is as per Accenture, survey in 2021. Next slide. Next slide. Okay. Now, managers, why should they focus on psychological safety or create an environment where people free to express their opinions? I remember a small story, the authenticity, which I could not verify, that when one of the soap manufacturing unit, they got a complaint that a soap cover did not contain a soap. Then the higher echelons of the organization, they had a detailed meeting, deliberated, and they decided to order for a high-tech machine and something of that. Then an ordinary worker approached the HR manager. He said, "Sir, I have an idea." Hey, come on, yeah, the big wigs, they've already decided. So why don't you give me a chance? And the HR manager, he gave a chance. Then that worker asked for a pedestal fan and positioned it against the point wherein the soap cover along with the soap goes for a packet. So when you switch on the fan, in case the soap cover doesn't contain the soap, definitely it will fly away. What a simple solution. Maybe that's the reason we people say that sometimes extraordinary ideas come from ordinary people as such. And when you're giving autonomy, that leads to increased job satisfaction. We all must have heard about Daniel Pink, in his great book, that is the three principles in our autonomy, mastery, and purpose. So when we are giving a little bit autonomy to them to express to contribute. In fact, I keep telling my students, why not you people involve, inform, inspire transparent enabling approach, and the employees will give their best. And when you have an open environment, people will see, they feel safe, they feel supported, and it reduces the absenteeism, the turnover, and you will be spending less time and resources in either recruitment or worker training. And most importantly, because nowadays we are talking about co-creation. Gone are those days when we used to attach a lot of importance to individual IQ. I'm not trying to undermine the IQ's importance, but today we need to synchronize. We are talking about diversity and inclusion. So when you have psychological safety, that improves team dynamics. You'll have effective coordination, effective communication, and most importantly, it builds trust. And trust, my dear friends, it's like a Kohinoor diamond in the hands of the manager. The moment a manager loses a trust, I'm sorry to say that he's physically alive, like clinically dead in terms of his ability to influence. And last but not psychological safety. Practice what you gone are those days of mindset. Provide learning and development. Treat them so well that they don't want to leave. Promote inclusivity, encourage transparency, provide support, create feeling that you are them. They have any issues to address conflicts. Whenever I keep related psychological safety manager
Okay. There might be some technical challenge that the doctor Jagan was experiencing. Thank you so much for staying with us. And yes, doctor, yeah, you were breaking up a little after the promote inclusivity. Then after that, yeah, the network went out. You are on mute.
Next slide. So when managers start addressing what are called conflicts, and using this rewards and recognition, what are called judicially, they what are called start what are called building the trust. Now, before we going further, first of all, let us reflect upon what is that our employees what to look for. They employees look for being, they would like to be safe. Nowadays, left and right, we are hearing about laying off by different vertical companies as such. So they would like to feel safe in terms of job security, in terms of what I call health, etc. Second, they would like to what I call believe in what, believe in what I call the work what I call they are contributing. The work is connected to the organizational performance as such. They would like to what I call belong what I call to the organization. They are part of what I call big picture, and they would like to what I call become a value addition to the what I call company as such. Now look at this what I call great gentleman, Timothy R. Clark. For the last 24 years, he is a working cultural, what I call anthropologist and a student of what I call psychological safety. He says psychological safety follows a natural sequence of human needs. We all heard about what I call Maslow's, what I call hierarchy of needs, like what I call essential needs, safety, security, and what I call self-actualization and all that. But nowadays, people are talking about coming up with what I call a comprehensive what I call compensation. When I say compensation, not only monetary and non-monetary, so that you address the needs, as what I call mentioned in the what I call hierarchy of needs. Now, what is that? Timothy was talking about the human needs. He says human beings, what I call, they love to be what I call included. People keep asking, am I part of the what I call picture? Like when you look at the Gallup's 12 employee engagement questions, is there somebody what I call who recognizes in the work? Am I having what I call all the required tools and techniques? So they go a long way in telling the employee. Second, they wish to what I call learn. My philosophy is learn, unlearn, and relearn. Obsolete technology is dangerous, but obsolete human resources is disastrous. Whether the employees have an opportunity to what I call learn, the next, they love to what I call contribute. They don't wish to be what I call a mute spectator as such. And last but not the least, they wish to challenge the status quo when they feel that there is a what I call need to change. So, psychological safety is a condition in which everyone would like to what I call feel included. It's safe to learn, contribute, and what I call challenge. Now, Amy, what I call Anderson and what I call Kim Scott of Rander, what I call Candor, both of them they wrote a paper on psychological safety, wherein they mentioned about what I call 4 things which we need to do if we have to ensure what I call psychological safety. Number 1, solicit criticism. Allow the people to what I call ask questions, raise questions. It's not that they should only simply what I call take your instructions. Second, what I call give praise. I'm sure Anthony, you will agree with me that including you, every human being loves to be what I call recognized, right? People, I say that what I call people crave for recognition. So start what I call praising the people when they do what I call good work. The third, give criticism. Many managers during my what I call 4 decades of experience I've seen, they hesitate. They love to be what I call goody goody chicky chicky, only giving what I call positive feedback. No, there is a young man who is not told actually how he's working. I'll say it's like what I call a dead man walking. So you need to what I call tell him how he's working. Maybe that's the reason nowadays people are talking about constructive feedback. A feedback given not with an intention to find fault with the person, but to enable him and to help him to improve. And last but not the least, what we call gauge your feedback. What do you mean by what we call gauge feedback? When you are giving feedback, positive as well as negative feedback, are you checking about the what we call mode of the employee? In communication, we keep talking about context, connect, and communicate. So when you're sharing the feedback about inadequacies or something what you call is the employee missed, which you want him to improve, have you looked at the context of the what you call person? Could you connect with him and how he feels what you call when you share this feedback? If he takes it in the what you call right spirit, that's fantastic. So we must what you call gauge the what impact of what exactly what you call we are saying. Now our earlier speaker was talking about artificial intelligence, right? In fact, if I am permitted to say, I'll say the real frontiers of modernity is not artificial intelligence. It is emotional and what I call social intelligence. Next. So let us what I call start respecting our colleagues. Let us what I call give them an opportunity to feel what I call included. Give them an opportunity to what I call learn, contribute, innovate. Today, all of the resources, irrespective of the organization around, they are either available, accessible, or affordable. So the only resource which can provide the cutting edge to the organizations in a competitive world of what today is what called talented human resource. So why not master emotional quotient and create and foster a culture of what called psychological safety? An environment where people feel at or let them feel comfortable, sharing their ideas and what else speaking up. And let's not forget, humans are not resources. They're not capital. They are what I call, they're not potential. They deserve to be heard. They deserve to be seen. They deserve to be understood. When we compare machines and what I call human beings, in my view, machines have a limited what I call, capacity, potential, whereas humans have what I call kinetic potential. The more we invest, the more productive what I call, they become. Hope leaders in general and managers in particular what I call take cognizance of this importance of psychological safety and strive for a create an environment wherein people can what I call share, they can contribute, and what I call result in effective collaboration, effective communication, thereby what I call contributing to our national growth. Nowadays, people are talking about what I call empathy, but in my view, empathy has become slightly obsolete. I'm sorry to say that, but today, what is required is what I call compassionate. When I say come on, what I call organizational results, no, definitely not. Compassionate, what I call leadership has to be combined with what I call wisdom. When I say wisdom means excessive concern for employee well-being, balancing it with what we call organizational growth. In fact, Gallup talks about great managers. So what is so special about great managers? They follow the practice of tough empathy. They are empathy their associates, their teammates. But at the same time, they also strive for getting the organizational results. So hope every around takes note of that and tries to create psychological safety so that people give their best, feeling better. Thank you.
Alrighty. Thank you so much, Dr. JMR or Jagan Mohan Reddy. So for that wonderful talk with regards to psychological safety. All right, so we are opening the session to questions or any insights or anything you would like to say in relation to the topic towards our speaker, or you can ask him directly by opening your microphones. Okay, so you can raise your hand if you wish to acknowledge. You can put it on the Q&A as well. So while we are waiting for the questions to be generated, if they have any, we have here the link on for Dr. Jagan's profile on LinkedIn. So you can check him out and send him a message there. Also, he has a YouTube channel, and also this is his Twitter. So you can see it on the screen for his social media areas where you can get in touch with him for offline collaborations. Okay. And
Thank you,
yes.
Dr. Jagan, for making your valuable time and making some subtle observations on this most important aspect of the human psychology. So really appreciate and would love to really know more about what are the other activities you do and how you what do you do like in general as part of your career or hobbies.
Sir, actually, I was a development banker to begin with for about 2 decades. Then I switched over to what we call education for the last 2.5 decades in the what we call teaching field. I'm a professor HR. But in 2021, I left Symbiosis, freelancer. I took a couple of courses in HR, and my passion is to synchronize ancient wisdom with regular contributor to Loka.
Yeah, it's breaking a little bit in between, but I understood.
A monthly magazine being published by. I am a motivational. Yeah, so I am a motivational speaker, sir. But to be honest with you, I feel that I'm only a malaka. I keep collecting some wisdom from people like you around and try to make it relent and place it at the lotus feet of Amma, that is Saraswati. And because of her grace, and I love to go around, share whatever little knowledge I have. So that's how my student who is your employee, she suggested me to join and did all that to facilitate my interactions. Thank you so much, for the opportunity.
Yeah, very humbly, I think described, Malakar, I think a new word that I learned. that's yeah, great to connect with you.
There is so much to learn, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
We'll definitely stay in touch. And thank you, Madhurima, for referring.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. We have also Ravi sending his thanks. Thank you, Jaganji, for sharing such insightful session. So that's from Ravi.
Thank you, Anthony. Thank you. Good night.
Yeah. Thank you all. Take care.
All right.
You,
so
thank you,
I think that's everything. So thank you so much, everyone. And for the speakers, appreciate your effort and your time bringing knowledge and value to the Zipinar for today. And yes, hoping for those who have joined and failed to join, we do this webinar every Wednesday. So that's every week at the same time, 12 noon to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So you can tune in our social media platforms on Facebook, on LinkedIn, and we also have a YouTube channel, which the recorded sessions will be uploaded. So you can feel free to go to our page, which is LetUsTalkIt, and you can see our previous videos as well. You can learn further with different areas of knowledge that you can gather. So thank you again, everyone, for joining, and see you next time, see you next Wednesday for 2 new topics and 2 new great speakers that will be with us. So let's conclude today. Definitely. And thank you, everyone, and keep safe as always.
Take care. Bye. Thank you.